Hi everyone, welcome to Story Time. I have a great classic book for us today. It is called The Story of Ferdinand, and it was written by Monroe Leaf. And the pictures were by Robert Lawson. The Story of Ferdinand. We match. We're both wearing what color? Red. Here we go. Once upon a time, in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. Guess that's how they would play. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Smell the flowers. There he is, sitting under the cork tree. Oh, I'm being attacked. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your heads together?" she would say. But Ferdinand would just shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just quietly smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew and grew. He was very big and strong. He was little, and now he's a big bull. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day long. They would butt each other in the heads and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. They all were looking. They wanted to be chosen. They had sharp, pointy horns on their head. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Let's see if there were 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were right. 5 men wearing some silly looking hats. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting and leaping and jumping so that the men would think that they were very strong and fierce. They wanted to get picked. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't even care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree, and he sat down. There he goes, walking up to his tree. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Ouch! Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would probably sting him. And that is just what the bee did to Ferdinand. And Ferdinand went, woo! There he is. Wow, did that hurt? Ferdinand jumped up and snorted, and he ran around puffing and snorting and 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of them all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Oh my goodness. I think they chose Ferdinand. So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. Here's all the flowers and the flags. It was a very exciting time in Madrid. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull to make him mad. Oh, my goodness. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him even angrier. Oh, my goodness. What is going to happen to Ferdinand? Then came the matador, the proudest of them all. He thought that he was very handsome, and he bowed to all the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. So here is the matador. There's his sword, and out right here is Ferdinand. Oh my goodness, this is getting so exciting. I don't know what's going to happen next. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoleros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight so fiercely, and butt and snort and stick his horns around. Ooh, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think Ferdinand is scary? But not Ferdinand. When he got into the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair. And he just sat down quietly and smelled the flowers. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did or said. He just sat and smelled the flowers. And the bandoleros were angry, and the picadores were even angrier. And the matador, well, he was really mad. And he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and his skills. So they had to take Ferdinand all the way back home. And for all I know, he is still sitting underneath his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just as quietly. He is very happy there, don't you think? Ferdinand the bull, he wasn't a fighter. He just liked to smell the flowers. Wasn't that a great story, friends? I hope you liked it. Meet me back here for another story tomorrow.